Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made some cream cheese enchiladas. So I'm just starting out with my chicken. I just cooked 2 chicken breasts in my Instant Pot, actually maybe 3, I'm not sure. And I'm just shredding that up. I just lightly seasoned them. I like to season them just a little bit before they go in the Instant Pot, and then I will season again afterwards once everything is shredded up. Next, I'm going to season the enchilada mixture with some garlic salt, onion powder, cumin. I'm also going to use a little bit of the liquid from the Instant Pot just to help make things nice and soft. And then, of course, I'm going to add some taco seasoning, jack cheese, and some sour cream just to make it a little bit more creamier. Once the enchilada mixture is ready to go, I'm going to work on creating an enchilada sauce. This isn't like authentic or anything. I'm just going to melt half a stick of butter down and create a roux. Before I add in the flour, I'm going to add in some seasonings. I'm going to use some taco seasoning, cumin, and some onion powder. Next, I'm going to add in my flour, so I'm just going to add spoonfuls of flour until it kind of matches the amount of butter that I added. So next I'm going to add in my liquid, so I'm going to add in some water, and then I'm going to add in some chicken bouillon powder, and then this acts as chicken broth. I didn't have any diced green chilies, but if you have a small can of that, I would totally add it in. Next, because I'm making like a cream cheese sauce, I'm going to add in a couple spoonfuls of just some plain cream cheese and let that melt down. At this point, you can taste test and add whatever else you think is needed. I just added a spoonful of sour cream just because I think it needed it. Next, we're going to begin assembling the enchiladas. So I just have a 13 by 9 dish. I sprayed with a little bit of cooking spray. I'm just going to spoonful some of that sauce on the bottom just to make sure the enchiladas don't stick. I'm just going to take my warmed corn tortillas, add in the chicken mixture, and then roll them and place them seam side down in the baking pan. I'm just going to do this for all of my enchiladas. How I warm the corn tortillas is I get them wet and place them in a microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute, and they are nice and soft and don't crack. I don't know why, I just find enchiladas so fun to make and roll. Once I have all my enchiladas in the baking pan, I'm just going to take that sauce and spoon it all over the enchiladas. You want to make sure you coat basically every inch of it so the corn tortillas don't dry out. So then I'm going to top the enchiladas with some Monterey Jack cheese. I'm just going to sprinkle a good amount of cheese on top. If you have like pickled jalapenos, this would be really good to add as well. Because I had so much chicken mixture left over as well as the sauce, I just decided to make another small baking dish of the enchiladas, and it worked out great for leftovers and giving some away. So I'm just going to do the same thing and make 5 more enchiladas. I just went ahead and spooned the enchilada sauce mixture on top of these and added the cheese, and then these both went in the oven at about 375 until they were nice and bubbly. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just served it with a side salad and some guacamole on top. My husband definitely had 3 of them. The next dinner I'm going to be showing you, I just made some raviolis with some homemade pink sauce. First, I went ahead and boiled the frozen raviolis, so while those are boiling, I'm going to begin with my homemade sauce. So I'm just going to melt a little bit of butter, not too much, and then I'm going to sprinkle in some red pepper flakes for a little bit of spice. Next, I'm going to add in a spoonful of minced garlic. I just use the minced garlic from a jar. That works fine for me. I'm just going to let that kind of cook up. Next, I'm going to take some tomato sauce. Again, I don't measure anything, so maybe a little more than half of an 8-ounce can. Just going to cook that as well until kind of all the liquid has dissolved. Of course, I'm going to add in a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I'm going to add in a little bit of onion powder as well. Once the tomato sauce has cooked down, I'm going to add in my heavy whipping cream. I'm just going to start with small amounts and kind of add as much as I think that I need. I'm just going to bring this sauce up to a rapid simmer, make it nice and hot, and then I'm going to add in my Parmesan cheese. I'm just going to use the grated can kind. At this point, the raviolis were done, so I just went ahead and drained them, and I'm going to add them into the sauce. At this point, I turned the heat down. I turned it off. That way the sauce can thicken up and really coat the raviolis. I'm just going to spend some time mixing this together gently so you don't break any of the raviolis. Of course, I'm going to add in some dried parsley flakes for some color. I'm also going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top and mix that in. This is how everything looked when it was done. We just served it with a side salad again and a slice of garlic bread. This was so good. The last dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a 1-pan Mexican chicken and rice. I absolutely loved how easy and good that this turned out. It is something that I will make again. So I'm just starting off with my raw chicken. I'm just going to cut up 2 chicken breasts into kind of thick chunks like this. This chicken is going to cook inside of the pan with the rice, so I'm going to cut it up into kind of bite-sized pieces. Next, I'm going to work on seasoning the chicken. I'm going to use all my favorite seasonings: taco seasoning, cumin, onion powder, and garlic salt. And I'm just going to mix that all together. Next, I'm going to begin working on the rice, so I just added a little bit of oil to the pan, let that heat up. I added in 1 cup of white rice, and I'm just going to toast that around. Next, I'm going to add in my seasoning, so I'm adding in half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic salt. I'm just going to mix that all around until all the flavors really start toasting up. Next, I'm going to add in my tomato sauce. Once that is all mixed in, I'm going to add in my liquid. So I'm going to add in 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon, and 1 teaspoon of tomato bouillon. I'm just going to carefully mix that into the rice. Next, to the broth, I'm going to add in a good amount of some peas and carrots. And then I'm just going to place all of that raw chicken in this same pan. This is where the chicken will cook and everything will kind of come together. I'm just going to work on bringing this up to a boil, so I have my pan set on about medium. So once it is boiling and nice and hot, I will turn the heat down to low and let it finish cooking. This is how it should look after you take the lid off of it. I did taste test some rice to make sure it was done. Lastly, I'm just going to place some Monterey Jack cheese on top and let that melt. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just served it with some lettuce, guacamole, and sour cream on top, and then a tortilla on the side. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.